Hey everyone, Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys a new 2017 album review. And today we're going to be looking into the new album from the band In Heart's Wake, entitled Arc, which was released today through Rise Records. Now, In Heart's Wake, some people might or might not heard of them. These guys are starting to build up a following, and they're a metalcore band from Byron Bay, Australia. They formed in 2006, and they started playing locally in Australia for a few years or so, and they had like a couple line member changes. It wasn't until 2012 they got signed, and then they recorded and released their debut full length album, Divination, which in my opinion is still their best album. I think it's a great album in the modern metalcore genre. And it's a concept album where lyrically each song talks about the tarot cards. And In Heart's Wake's music are just really catchy, and like lyrically they sing about nature and like the earth and stuff. They're just for the environment, which I think is a pretty good message to spread in their songs. And then 2014 they recorded two albums at the same time, which would be 2014's Earthwalker and their last album 2015 Skydancer. And 2015 was, in my opinion, I think was their big breakthrough year for In Heart's Wake, where they started playing a lot into other countries. They played in the US for the first time, and I actually saw In Heart's Wake back in February for the first time, and they put on a really good show, and some of the nicest dudes ever. But anyway, back to the review. This album is, of course, the new album Mark is the follow-up to 2015's Skydancer, which I thought was a good album. But in my honest opinion, does this album follow in the lines of Skydancer? In my honest opinion, I think it has. Like it is actually also like with previous In Heart's Wake albums, like they always have like a lot of guest appearances. Because in this actually the first album, I believe, that doesn't have any guest appearances at all, which is kind of surprising. Which kind of makes it a little bit different compared to their previous albums. And the production on this album is pretty solid. Like everything is where it needs to be. It's all aligned. And let's talk about the vocal work in general on this album. We'll start with Jake Taylor. His vocals are just really gotten better with this album. Like his harsh vocals are just really just intense. Like his growling has gotten like a lot better. It's improved a lot in the last couple of albums. Like it just puts a lot of like feel to it, which makes it really great and unique. And then we go to the clean vocals from Kyle Arish, I believe that's how he says his name, the bassist. His clean vocals really shine on this album, and like he does a lot of different things with his cleans. He has like some of the songs have like a little bit more of a grit to it, and yeah, guitar wise, I mean Evan Dahl and Ben Narn just come up with some really great riffs and just some really great metalcore struck riffs, and I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. And it's just some good riffs on here. The bass I wish was a little bit more audible in the mix. That's just one little gripe I have. And the drumming, and this is actually the first In Heart's Wake album to have current drummer Connor Ward, and he does a pretty good job on this album. Like compared to in the other albums, they had like Caleb, forget his last name, and they had like forget his name, the dude from oh yeah, the dude from Northlane playing drums on Earthwalker and Skydancer. But yeah, Connor's drumming on the Arc is really great. But yeah, without further ado, let's dive into this track by track. Now the album opens up with a minute-long intro, which is the title track Arc, which is just a long ambient setup, which pretty much establishes sort of like the water theme to it, hence the album title Arc. I feel like it connects it all. And then we go into the song Passage, which showcases In Heart's Wake's trademark melodic metalcore sound. Lyrically, it's slightly troubling, but you sort of ends with pretty much a good message. And then we go into Nomad, which is a distinctive percussion here, which is just a blast of muscular metalcore and a good song. And I feel like the song could go well live in a setting when they play the song live. And here's then Frequency. Now this is where it feels like the band kind of has a little bit of an identity crisis. And this song kind of reminds me of another Australian band, the Amity Affliction, in like a somber mode, which kind of feels like a little bit weird. But yeah. War Cry. This song is one of the heaviest songs on this album, and it's ridiculously heavy. Really love this song. And then Waterborne, which it's similar to Frequency a little bit, but it also has sort of like an eerie the synth line to it and a song structure to it. An Arrow, which in my honest opinion, I feel like it's a bit misplaced on here. It's sort of a love song ballad, but I think it's a okay song. Then we go into Flow. Now, Flow brings back the slightly heavier tone onto the album with an easy sounding guitar riff and the sort of like the tag team between Jake and Kyle on the vocals. In this song case, the second half and the final few minutes of the track are so close to perfection, it's not even funny. The tempo, the drums, everything about its ending just works so well. If only the rest of the song had sounded like this too. And now we get to Overthrow. Now, in my honest opinion, I think this is the song of their career, which has a very groove-laden song with a well-placed breakdown in there. I think is a really great song. I feel like the last last fourth of this album is just all really great. And then we go into Elemental, which sort of exhibits an Arabian feel amongst metalcore formula, which makes it pretty unique. And I think it's a really good song and very interesting too, if I do say so myself. Then we go into Totality, and this is where the album kind of like slows down again a little bit. Another one of the slower songs on this album. And then the album closes with the song Now, which features a slow, kind of like fading in ambient instrumental sound that you might hear briefly on the other songs that are scattered throughout this album. It's peaked in the middle, but is somewhat of an anticlimactic compared to the rest of the album that came before it. And I think it's a pretty interesting way to end this album. Now, overall, Arc by In Heart's Wake is a pretty solid album. One of the solid metalcore albums I've heard this year. If I were to give this album a score, I'd probably give this a 7.5 to an 8 out of 10. It'll probably grow on me more if I listen to this more and more. But yeah, that's my review of the new In Heart's Wake album, Arc, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next review, and keep it metal.